Utah, indigenous, Aztecan. Talking about a priestly tribe, a priestly people of Aztlan, pure land, promised land. Joshua, take the wheel. Utah, Judah. High above the hijack. The scepter will never depart from high. Judah, Judah, Jew. Contraction of Judas or Judah, a Hebrew. Israel, Judah, a contraction of a Jew. Jew is a contraction of a Judah, a contraction. Oh man, we're having some fun playing the name game, man. Aqua battle got us on this hunt. Salute to Aqua. I got some more drop from Aqua. I know y'all missed it. Look out for the Soul Bone podcast, man. Nagas is cooming. We rising to all the levels, man, you know what I'm saying, that we are meant to connect for our tribe, to get the drive, to see the drive, to enjoy the drive, to be, having a good time, to be entertained, man. You know what I'm saying? So Ahab, to the battles, man, and look out for Soul Bone podcast, man. CJ's on the move. A lot of things are happening. Tribe Up Music's coming in hot, man. We got some brand new tracks popping off. Five Eyes popping off. He's like, "Come, man, let's go, man." We got some Tribe Up Music, man. So look out for Tribe Up Music. I'm getting on it. Five Eyes, my jigger, AI Veteran 9. We got some Tribe Up Music popping off. Lots happening. I'm just looking at some titles. Jewish pertaining to the Hebrews. Semitic, right? Because if you're anti something, you have to be anti a real thing. Ooh, there's nothing in the English dictionary called Semitic. Let me try that again. They got Semitic. What's Semitic? Corporal pertaining to a body. Yeah. Nah, I need Semitic though. They say Kyrie's anti. Let's try this again. What if I put an H right here, like Shem? Oh, ping, pal. We're talking Shemitic. Con. Son of Noah, Shem, you know what I mean? So if you're connected with this bloodline, I mean, a lot of bloodlines is popping off out of Shem, right? You can't discount Shem. Take out the H. Now you're Sim, but that don't exist in your language. If we're talking Shemitic, we're talking about our languages, right? We're talking about Afro-Asiatic language family, code word for Negro. Abyssinian, code word for a mixed multitude. The Abyssinian, priest King Prester John, right? Abyssinia, I'll be seeing you. Come. Abyssinia, etymologies, is the earlier form of old name for Ethiopia. So an emperor of Abyssinia is an emperor, later of the Ethiops of Ethiopia, of the fiery looking ones. Fiery looking, not just burnt faced, black, dark nigga. Fiery nigga. Because the nigga, the negus, is stemming from the negash. Kyrie saying, I like words, I like definitions, I like to learn about what your language is so we can connect as cons. We because if Abyssinia is the old name for Ethiopia, then you're getting closer to an oregano flow, an original flow, a Habasa. Yeah, now they're saying mix. Now, mix like what? Mix like a bloodline mix? Or you talking about multiple tribes like Moses was leading to the promised land, like Joshua led to the promised land? He didn't just lead Israelites. Moses came with his own tribe. I mean, there was a mixed multitude. An emperor of Abyssinia, you know how to lead the mixed multitude, because you're not just going to have pure-blooded Israelites in your camp, in your tribe. You know, you're going to have others outside your tribe that's rocking KTC. It will be a mixed multitude. But that mixture has to come with no covetous in their heart bone. You know what I'm saying? They have to come first to let you be a wholeness, to let you be whole. And they have to support you being whole without trying to interfere with your wholeness and slide themselves and graft themselves into your tree before you can even allow the roots to form again. The problem is those that have the knowledge and some knowledge that are outside of the soul bone, outside the tribe. You know, they want to graft. You want to become tribe, and do all this intermixing before you even allow us to form up, to tribe up. We can't love you if we are not we. We got to be we. We got to be us. We have to form us. You know what I'm saying? Us don't have to include you, and that's not anti-nothing. That's everything for us. We're supporting us. Hawa supports us. You should support us too. We are the remnant. Then we could Ahab you. Then we can include you, you know what I'm saying, in the flow of the fruits of the tree. But you ain't the root of the tree. And if you try to mix yourself into the rootness of it all, that's where you're having a problem in your frequency. You're covetous towards the root, which means you're covetous towards the remnant. To be a mixed multitude, those other tribes got to come in order. They're not coming trying to boast themselves above Israel. So don't you try to boast yourself above the root. Abyssinia, previous form of Ethiopia. Title of an Abyssinia or Ethiopia, right? What does Ethiopian mean again? Fiery looking. At the very bottom, Ethiops. It's a Greek word, ethos, Ethiops, Greek. Latin, Ethiopian, Ethiops. Ethiopian is a Negro, my naga. A Negro. Afro-Asiatic. Who is fiery looking or burnt face, copper colored tribes found here. Khan, are they Semitic or Shemitic pertaining to Shem? Are you American or are you American? When do you spell C-A-N and pronounce it kin? Kinfolk is what? K-I-N. Khan. This is Khan. You want some candy or some candy? Man, you seeing clearly? Native means natural, means pertaining to Hawa, the creator, applied to the original people, the original copper colored, burnt face, fiery looking tribes that were brought here on boats. No, Managa, no, Managa, that were just found here. Just let that sink in. All it takes is a spark. It's like we've been pouring out gasoline since 2015. Shout out to my noggins from the very tip top, surfing the wave. But all it takes is a spark from a naga like Kyrie or a naga like Ye. Or like you, my naga. You know what I'm saying? All it takes is a spark, a fiery spark, a fiery looking spark. Yeah, you were just found here by the Europeans that also look just like you. Because Old Charles Kento. Oh, Charles, Holy Roman Emperor Charles, look just like you. And they call this nigga the first European emperor of the Inca. First European emperor. First European Holy Roman Emperor Charles. First European. Found here by the Europeans. When were you found? Columbus sailed the ocean blue 1492. First European, were you around in 1492? Drum roll, please. 1500 to 1558. Whoa. So you were just popping off during this exploratory time, huh? During this invasion time. Now we gotta look at your daddy. Now we gotta bring it all the way back and all the way forward into the King James flow. See, there's niggas out there that look like us, but they're not for us. And that doesn't mean we're against black unity, but this nigga would call himself black, right? He'll be on the corner talking about black man is and black man that, Islam brother, da 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 da. Whatever we saying, he'll be saying it. They are saying it. What they're not saying is that we're two different bloodlines. See, the Moabites come out a lot, but they're not the seed of Abraham. I mean, they're covered in the protection of Abraham for the most part, but are they the seed of Abraham? Nah, that's Abraham's nephew. He had to keep him out of trouble. First European emperor found here by the Europeans, copper color races that look just like the European, right? Right, my nigga? Painting in the Larco Museum in Peru. Charles Kento, right? So, we seen it. We just, you know, from a Dragonfly perspective, we got to keep popping off with this because this keeps us in, proper perspective. All these images have been repainted. Look at their foreheads and look at their cheeks, right? These are niggas. All these Spaniards are niggas. This happened, man. We got to address this. This is not there ain't never been no black unity, man. That's an illusion. It's been tribal war since Cain and Abel, man. It's been tribal war. Israel on Moab, Esau, this, that. It's been tribal war. It ain't no white versus black. Unless you're talking pure versus wicked. Now you're on their grand piano. First Europeans look just like you. And they came up on you, man. And they tried to color them out to make them look like they were white, so-called. But all these Spaniards and these elite Portuguese were all black, just like Charles V, Holy Roman Emperor Charles V. Burnt face, fiery looking, Ethiopian. Family of languages spoken in Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan. They form the western branch of South Semitic languages, itself a sub-branch of Semitic, part of the Afro-Asiatic family. Where is Africa, man? We're just talking Semitic language. Where's Africa? To those that have conquered us, where would Africa be? Not to where our public school knowledge told us. Where would Ethiopia be? Ethiopia would be anywhere where you burnt face, fiery looking people are. It did not denote a place love to Ronald Sanders and Lost Tribes and Promised Land. It does not denote a place. It is people, a people east, a people west, an Orient Ethiopian, this Asiatic, Afro ain't just talking about no Africa that we think we know. We're just talking about phenotypes, language, philology. I mean, so Ethiopia would be wherever. Where would Africa be? Where's old Egypt? Where would the Moors say Africa is, right? Con, con, con. Let this sink in, my nut. Just let it sink in, my nut. We're talking about lighting the spark after dark. That's where I spark. Cali Street, Texas, hard. Saying the same place Texas is. Texas is in Africa. You saying Peru's in Africa too? See, Africa again denotes the whole pie to these people. To what people drop? To these people. The conquerors. Holy Roman Emperor Charles. To these people. Yeah. Africa is the whole world. Africa is a maxim, right? Huh? Africa is a maxim. All this are maxims, right? So this would be Northwest Africa, Southwest Africa, South America. Then you got Northeast and Southeast, right? So they put us all in, this is all for Kush. And North America and South America is all for Ham. Ham owns North America and South. Does the Creator see the pie this way? Or did Joshua divide the lands for the tribe? They call Joshua the robber, like he's taken from them. Hawa already has order. He ain't taken from you when you're out of order. Get with it or get left on. The Moroccan Empire. Man, this is a bunch of hogwash and wing wham, man. So all this would be Atlantis. Yeah. Or just this little piece up here. It's very telling. You're in Northwest Africa. To the conquerors who's making the maps. Then they call this North America for your confusion, not theirs, because they're keeping a secret knowledge. Where's Egypt? Why is 1,200,000 acres blocked off and forbidden for your travel around the Grand Canyon? Canyon? C-A-N is Khan. Yan could be John. The Grand Khan John. Who is Prester John? The Grand Khan John. Yeah, man. Africa is everywhere, boss. So go back to Africa. You say which one? Northwest, Southwest, Southeast, Northeast? We're just talking a Maxim talk. We're just talking Atlantis talk. Because only with permission from the Pharaoh can you migrate, Charles. Who's your Pharaoh? Who's the king of Atlantis? Oh, Charlesy boy. Oh, Charlesy boy. I guess Charles would also be Shemitic, because Semitic doesn't exist. Does it? Let me see. Try again. Semitic. No, but Shemitic is a thing. Shemitic is a thing. It describes a person, a place, a thing. The Shemitic is the Afro-Asiatic family. Where's Africa? Where's Africa, boss? Where's Shem? Yeah, man. We surfing a wave, especially in the drop chatter, chatter. We been surfing a wave, man. Been popping off, man. Shout out to Anion. We are in here popping off on a daily. Shout out to my Nagas my daily Nagas that come into the drop chatter, to spread that red plus blue equals purple frequency, ThaWaDa to you, you know what I'm saying? And, I like to read this from my bro Anion. We are. He says, usually celebrity news is of no over interest, but since our nation truth has evolved, it has become intriguing to watch how Hawaii is going to make himself seen. Incoming Ron Dalton Jr., Hebrew to Negroes producer, is to give a press release. As the information comes forth more and more throughout the weeks to come, let us remember to keep focus on the Most High, even when being amazed by his works. Allow Hawaii for the recalibration of Shabbat. Perhaps this is why seeing Hawaii by faith can be an end of life if one is carried away by the glory of his works. Children love to watch our dads at work, but mama will pull us back because dad's work is dangerous. Hawaii guard us from being not over intrigued, but how the others will be punished, but rather keep focus on the code of our salvation. Hey, Hawaii, keep the code. The work is seeking Hawaii and Kandawi. Dawu is utmost. Their Jew power is not ours, nor is their code, though their title resembles ours. It is not the same. We are not the real Jews, Jews. That is a new term. We have to change our wording. We are Ania, seed of Hawakol. Word choice is very important. Most of all, we are not to be in their world. In their world, they are Lucy's chosen. So to claim it false. We are Hawaii's chosen. We must come out of their world and focus on our own narrative instead of changing a liar's narrative, right? We got to see it from our perspective. We gotta be witnesses, my naga. From Hawaii's eye, you know what I'm saying? Hawaii's vision got to be our vision. All praise the Most High. Hawaii for 432, the drop radio, where we can focus on us. Hawaii keep everyone lifted, who keeps this oasis alive as we shift ahead. Con up, Annie, we are. And I think we all feel this shift, man. To the common Naga, or the Naga that wasn't even really tripping on no info or vibration. They on this info, they on the vibration, and look at the track record of public, published work, Drop Nation, all the real ones, all the tribe, man, that's been dedicated. You've left these more than breadcrumbs, man. You left a certified trail, you know what I'm saying, that they can have a good time going back, you know what I'm saying, and digging on it. So, man, ThaWaDa to you, Anion, and to all my Nagas just like you, and everybody's surfing the wave and checking in with us and just allowing us to feel this vibration in real time, man. You could always, enjoy what's popping on the IG right from the drop chatter. Again, the password is 1234. That's it to get to the drop chatter at 432thedrop.com. Hey, man, just, come hijack free, man. Hey, hop to you. And love to the bro. Morse art history and cognizante couture, however you say. Hey, hop to you. We're looking at original China. Right, so this is stuff we've been digging on. And the main thing is that this ain't just China over there. They used a lot of our artwork that they took from over here. You know what I'm saying? This is China. I know, sounds crazy at first, and then you see the maps. This is China, America's Japan, America's India superior. You dig? This is promised land. They duplicated they took the same place and they duplicated the names over there and acting like those are all these different places. Cathay and all these names, Pure Land, Promised Land, Shambhala, Shimbala, Manag, Sheba, Manag. Let's go. Yeah, I mean, so meditate, man. See what's popping. You're going to see all kind of amazing flows, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, they all look like you is the point. They all look like you, you know. So spread out west to east, east to west. Remember, they flipped the maps and we are in the Far East. So when they're looking at the Orient, Far East, China, you're in the Far East. You're in India Superior. This is it. So a lot of this they probably got from the Grand Canyon and took over there to China and Japan. Who knows, man? Who knows, right? But this is why we investigate. So these are beautiful paintings of original Chinese. So yes, you are original everything. And this is one of those maps that we've been digging on. It says on the bottom, a map of America and the way to China, as men believed. The part's cut off, shown to King Henry VII. So this is around the year 1500. We got the full map. You see Florida, right? And then, you know, as you get into North America, it says this is the Great Khan, Khan, or Can, like American of China. Khan means priest. China could also be Chi or Kana, like Ka, right? Or Ki, Ka, right? So, hey, we didn't say Ch. It was always that hard K, Ka. You know what I mean? Even when you look at, we got it still up, yeah. If we look at our Hebrew, it was always a hard K that we were pronouncing with. We have the Kaf. That's our hard K. You know what I'm saying? We didn't need a C. We don't have a C. Right? They created a C with using our Gam, like Gamu, and they turned it into K with a C, and then they flipped it again to a K. They went crazy from the C's to G's and K's. But they invented the C. We didn't need a C when we already had a cough, which meant bend, open, allow, tame, open palm, allow. You know what I'm saying? When you have an ak, with the left ak, strong ak, power, leader. That's what? Bend, open, allow, tame. I mean, that's all an ox gonna do. Sometimes you need an ox to help tame you, help keep you cool. Sometimes you need an ox to allow you a favor, or you know, their time, their energy to open their doors. You know what I mean? To bend. You know what I'm saying? To a point where you know, you might have to be giving something up, sacrificing, you know, bending, you know what I'm saying? You know, instead of going on a straight line, I might have to bend the left to help a naga. I mean, open my palm, open my hand, you know, contain my naga, contain the strong power, share that power together of Hawaii, man. That's an act that keeps the code. You know, they spell it different ways. Some spell it with the AH and they'll put a C. Again, where's the C in Paleo Hebrew? Some spell it with an AH and a CH. Where's your CH in Picto Paleo Hebrew? You got the hard K only to get the K. It's not confusing. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is get back to the root and surf the wave. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You have a strong power. You have a leader. Allow why. Get back to the root. Ah, K. Hard K. You know what I'm saying? That's what we have. So it's interesting, man, to put it together brick by brick, piece by piece. This China again, hard K, Kana, Cathay. It's not Sathay, it's Cathay. Or Katai, that's what it's spelled with a K, Katai at sometimes, or Kathai, Katai, Kara, Katai. Katai is Cathay, Kara meant black or burnt face, fiery looking as well. So you see all these languages are pointing to the same thing. And right here you got a fire dragon right by Florida. I guess Texas would be over here popping off, but you're still in Cathay or China. The Chinese sail upon this ocean. Yeah, the Chinese. Yeah, the Chinese, right? Ancient Chinese secret. Oh boy. Oh boy. The Chinese sail upon this ocean, and they looking like you, copper colored tribes found here in America. In America. This is the Isle of Sapangu or Kapangu, or some put a Z, Zipangu, which some call Japan. How's Japan an island between Florida and the mainland of North America, or to the more Northwest Africa? So you got Florida here. That means Japan would have been right here. Where did it go? Did it sink, or did it not put it on the map? I don't know. But Japan would be right in the middle before you hit mainland Mexico, which all this would be China and Cathay, according to their maps in the 1500s. Khan. This is the great Khan of Cathay. It's a lot to dig on, right? This is just North America or North Africa, boss. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Just remember my noggin. Love to my bro, Copper, the real Copper Skin Boy on IG. Never forget who you are and what they brought to pacify us right here on our own land. Native of America, originally applied to the originals, man. Copper color races found here by the European, but now applied to the descendants, the seed of those Europeans, which including the black ones. They took our titles with treaties. This is all you got to see with a dragonfly perspective. You used to have your own title of American. Now they're the American. Now they're indigenous to America. No, they just see it as Ham. And with permission of the Pharaoh of Ham, Egypt, Ham, they can migrate, walk around there, cubes, cause ice ages and just go crazy. You know what I'm saying? They're looking at it from a Ham perspective, not from a Shem perspective. Shem don't even exist in their world. It's just Ham and Kush. Ham and Kush. So y'all can't even call yourself Shem no more, because you don't represent Shem. It's not even represented in Morocco. It's not even represented, man. It's crazy, man. You can't even talk about Ethiopian, Semitic, Shemitic. You can't even talk about Afro-Asiatic languages if you don't got Shem represented. It's ridiculous, man. We just in Africa to you. We just in Africa. The untold story, sort of hush history about the Moors. Why is it such a big secret? Look at all these secrets we got to endure, man. All these secrets going on, man. Why is there so many secrets? Yeah, they brought their Zeus, black ass Zeus, black ass Hamite Zeus. Because some would say Ham is Zeus. Uh-oh. Yeah, man, never forget. All these secrets. Chinese secret. Y'all got a hush secret. Secrets everywhere. Well, let's keep digging, man, before I get caught up in your secrets, man. Hey, how to all my noggins popping off and a drop chatter. Chatter. The water for all my cons, keeping the water flowing, however you're doing it to make sure we popping off in real time and, it doesn't go unnoticed, and it's truly appreciated to all my cons, man. So just know it is, man, in real time. And a lot more is dropping off in the drop chatter by Anion, my bro, Tone AV. Still watching the latest drop, but I wanted to drop this for those who haven't seen it or just know about the other viewpoints. And that's something we might do a great dismount on too. Because the bro, dropped something that has a lot of connectivity. And it's on BitChute, man. Yeah, man. A lot of people claim, the Hitler letter is false and different things, but there's a lot more to it to give context. It's more than just a letter, it's the context, and it's a great drop. It's about 3 hours long, but I'll drop. Well, he already dropped it in the drop chat, so go get it in the drop chat room at 432thedrop.com and Ahab to the bro. Let's go, man. Let's go. I'ma pop it right back to the bro Mano. Shout out to the bro Mano. Ahab to the entire New York. Shout out to the New York coast, man. New York City. You know what I'm saying? All the boroughs. You know what I'm saying? Just know you got Ahab right here in Cali. Just like we got Ahab in Texas and everywhere in between. My nigga, real niggas gonna be on Coon. None of us trying to prove each other's bloodlines. I ain't trying to prove my bloodline to you. I'm trying to keep the code, man. Everything else will be very clear. You know what I'm saying? It's just like chasing your own tail, trying to figure that out. We keeping the code. And regardless of our bloodlines, we're gonna do it for the tribe. I could be the tribe of I could be from a Cushite tribe, but I'm gonna do it for the tribes of Jacob. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna do it for Antioch. You know what I mean? We're gonna do it, man, for the real ones, for Kalelus, for Kapangu, for Kavera. Shout out to bro Mano. Let go.
Kyrie is being held responsible for sharing a link to a documentary that's on Amazon. That is on Amazon. Amazon is a platform. It's being shared. It's being sold or whatever. So he's being held accountable for that by Nike and whoever else. But Amazon is not. Doesn't hold no responsibility for nothing, but for anything. Just is a question I need to understand. Make me understand. It's the irony of that is just that us in this country, we say things and we do things, and we held responsible for the things we say, but yet the irony of that is that our experiences in this country as American blacks or African American, nobody has felt more horror, travesty, has been done wrong.
And we talking about current travesty, current tragedy. We got to wake up. There's still niggas getting lynched. We still dealing with current. We see our people, our heroes, they getting cut off. They getting broken over a tweet, broken over a link. So we still going through it. This ain't no flashback and hear about the history of this and that and that and this. You know what I'm saying? We still going through it in real time. So we have current reactions, current emotions. You don't want to deal with our current emotions. You just want us to, salute you. You don't want to deal with our current trauma. And that's all Mano's kicking, man. Let's go.
Has been hurt, affected, beaten, tortured, maimed, killed, whatever. Nobody's been done worse than us in this particular country right here. And I feel like no matter what is said about us, it doesn't hold any higher consequences about anything that is said about us in the same country that we was done so wrong. So I'm just trying to stand so.
Man.
These are all of.
My bad, y'all. There's so much hijack, man. So much hijack in the world. Let's get back on my bro Mano. And I apologize, man. I just hate how they design. We're halfway through. They're gonna start putting up, oh, this video's next, like right over his face. Like you couldn't put it nowhere else. You don't think that's on purpose? All you coders, you couldn't code that damn thing to pop off in the corner that doesn't, disrupt, just intrude, you know what I'm saying, on a bro's flow, disturb the bro's flow. Anyway, man, Amazon ain't being held accountable at all. At all. But Kyrie can't even leave a link. I mean, I think that's what got real niggas really waking up. Because normally you know, they'll hear the crazy, oh, he crazy, or he apologized, and it would bother them to talk about it in the barbershops. But this time, you got this man losing his livelihood that he earned. And when you do that to him, you tell us that we might have sons and daughters that we, are young athletes. So you're going to do it to them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just, oh, they ain't going to care about it because he's rich and they're poor. Nah, we have aspirations. We got young hoopers in our family, you know what I'm saying, or whatever sport you playing professionally. What does it mean when we can't even leave a link without saying I agree or disagree, or you should look into this further without being labeled this and saying that we promoting that, without it being called hate? With everything that's been taken from us, we can't investigate and leave a link for our people that's following us on our pages. Yeah, it's on your platform, but it's our personal page. He's not linking you, atting you, tagging you. He's not mocking nobody. He's not dressing in blackface. He's just left a link to a public platform called Amazon. And how many people leave links to Amazon on a daily? So he needs to do a whole diatribe discussing what this video is and what he likes and doesn't like. He don't got to do that. That's infringing beyond just freedom of speech. That's just infringing on him as a human person, man. As a man, as a person. And that's what got real niggas popping off. And to see people shit on him and our own people dog him out and drag him this and that. Oh, you gonna cancel him? You know what's worse than being canceled by them? It's being canceled by us or by Hawaii, by the real Naga frequency. See, that's what they forgot. They looking out for their pockets. They're looking out for this. I know they weren't prepared to make this type of stand. I know everything's been split in two. And like the bro Anion just said, we gotta, hey, keep it about the code for us, you know what I'm saying, and grow and address these things with a dragonfly perspective, man. And Ahab to the bro Anion. That's what we talking about. We should be able to address these things with a dragonfly perspective with our opinions. But he didn't even leave an opinion. You trying to force an opinion. And you don't like his reaction, even when he claims responsibility. Buck break this Naga to being an apologist now, an anti-Semitist. And that word don't even exist. You can't make up words and then lynch us for your made up matrix. It don't exist. It don't exist. You don't want to talk Shem. You don't want to talk Afro-Asiatic. You don't want to talk about Northwest Africa, Mexico, Kana, China, Kapangu. You don't want to talk about India Superior, man. I appreciate what Mayno's saying. I'm going to hear a little bit more of this, man.
else. But Amazon is not doesn't hold no responsibility for nothing, for anything. Just is a question I need to understand. Make me understand. It's the irony of that is just that us in this country, we say things and we do things, and we held responsible for the things we say, but yet the irony of that is that our experiences in this country as American blacks or African American, nobody has felt more horror, travesty, has been done wrong, has been hurt, affected, beaten, tortured, maimed, killed, whatever. Nobody's been done worse than us in this particular country right here. And I feel like
Crazy, man.
no matter what is said about us, it doesn't hold any higher consequences.
And that's big facts. We got we got to pay the biggest, cost. Remember the cost benefit ratio? We got to think about a tweet Does the cost of that tweet outweigh the benefit of getting everything snatched, taken, ostracized, people talking shit, my best friends turn against me? Shaq's talking all this wing wham, and his movie theater played the film. They're literally promoting it by playing the shit. And he's talking reckless. And Kyrie just left a link. Kyrie leaves a link, gets ostracized, gets publicly lynched, literally. You know, Kanye talking that, yay. Kanye going yay. Bank accounts closed, yada yada. Shaq, because he's moving according to their approval. He has a movie theater that plays the film, but no one's gonna ask him, "Would you agree with Shaq? Would you disagree with Shaq?" And I'm from LA. I'm from Inglewood. I'm a nigga that rock with the Lakers. You know what I'm saying? I'm a nigga that was there watching down there every game. However I could watch it with Shaq and Kobe being Bryant, man. I'm a nigga that saw Robert Horry, do what he do against the Sacramento Kings, man. And I was in Sacramento in school, man. So I rock with Shaq. But we see what's popping. And we also see that they're making us real divisive and then suddenly start disliking each other over these issues that are very polar. So we got to be careful not to just start banging on each other just because of, we both feel very strongly on both sides or whatever the case is. And Anion said it best. We got to code up. Just because they miss it, just because they don't see it, let's not bang too hard. Let's show them the Ahab of Hawaii. But at least we can see clearly that it's turning up. And we can celebrate real niggas that are talking that talk, not to talk hate talk, but to ask for accountability like my bro Mano, man. Asking for accountability, man. Hey, man, fair use in y'all caboose bone, man. We popping off. I'm sharing some clips. We talking some things. We doing some criticisms, some commenting, little news reporting. Yeah, let's talk about some news, matter of fact. Some teaching, some scholarships, some recon. Let's talk a little news right quick, man. Just right quick. Aquatai been dropping some news in the copper thread. Let's see, my bad. I know. Okay, let's start over here. From Jezebel.com. Okay. Nikki Haley says Senator Raphael Warnock. What kind of name is Warnock? I've never heard of Warnock. A black American pastor should be deported. So this is a Negro of African American quote unquote descent. She just asked this nigga to be deported back to Africa. That's a pretty stunning thing to say. Deported to where, Nikki? Reverend Warnock was born in Georgia. His dad served in the Army in World War II. He is currently serving in the U.S. Senate. Especially, this just goes to show that even there, people aren't safe, man. Even people that are playing the game still ain't safe, man. Essentially saying this man should go back to Africa is quite a closing message 2 days before a midterm election. Where exactly do you want to deport Savannah, Georgia-born Raphael Warnock? Haley made inflammatory comments on immigration during the campaign stop Sunday morning. Republican Senate candidate Herschel Walker saying that Warnock should be kicked out of the country. The only person we need to make sure we deport is Warnock, Haley said, prompting loud cheers and applause from the crowd. Moments earlier, she talked about being the daughter of an Indian immigrant and said her parents are offended by what's happening at that border. Legal immigrants are more patriotic than the leftists these days, she said to a crowd of hundreds of Walker supporters. They love America and they want the laws followed in America. Damn, 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 damn. Damn, damn, damn. Legal immigrants are more patriotic. I mean, this is just a crazy, it's crazy. And on every level, this is just madness, Legal immigrants are more patriotic. They they love the corporation more than leftists. All right. It's crazy talk. They work to come into America and they love America. They want the laws followed in America. So the person we need to make sure we deport is Warnock. Damn, where's you gonna go? The only possible place that could be in this jabroni's mind bone is Africa, man. But all he gotta say is, we in Northwest Africa. I'm about to get my too short on. You know what I mean? But we in Northwest Africa, lady. All right. So where you want me to go, man? I got time. It's going in, man. BlackEnterprise.com got some news. I said we're gonna do some news report, man. It's Drop Nation. We surfing away. I'm gonna get back. This is a Yeezy Discourse Part 5. We're just popping off. We're having a good time. Look out for the Code Keeping series, the Code Keeper series, Part 5 to be popping off next. Talking about false witnesses. And boy, we gotta take it in-house. Our community has some of the most false witnessing niggas of all time. You know what I'm saying? So, this is real talk. So we got to bring it on. We got the most covetous, folks of all time. Like, we got to go in-house. You know what I'm saying? Covetous is deep within our community. False witnessing is deep. Idolatry is deep. All this is deep. Killing and stealing is deep. You think Ten Commandments? Yeah, I heard that. I'm pretty good with that. But when you think about it as a tribe, man, boy, do we need to work, right? So we working. From BlackEnterprise.com, some African Americans oppose idea of stolen treasures being returned to Africa. Why is that? The statues currently reside in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington, D.C. Despite some who are not in favor of this location, American and European governments have been forced under certain penalties to return stolen African treasures back to their homeland. Okay. But some argue that the descendants of slaves who live in America are just as entitled to these statues, if not more than Nigerians. So the bronzes looted by British colonists in the 19th century from the Kingdom of Benin in what is now Nigeria are also part of the heritage of descendants of slaves in America, and returning them would deny them the opportunity to experience their culture and history. What y'all think, man? First of all, let's just remind them one more time. We're in Northwest Africa. So return to Africa. How do we know these, came from? A lot of times they're telling us they come from over there, over here, you know what I mean? But a lot of it's coming right out of here. They just don't want you to connect, saying that this is the old world. This is the old world. You know what I mean? And hey, they're saying that the people need to connect to their heritage here as well. But again, it all comes together. And again, all this was once all connected, like even the M.H.O.E map show. South America, you see rivers that you could take a river, according to this map, through Atlantis, right? From Kush to Ham, or from Africa today to South America. And then from there, get off your boat. You could walk your way to North America, walk your way back to Atlantis or Greenland. A lot of people don't talk about Greenland. A lot of people ain't talking Greenland. Okay. Back to Europe, you could just walk. So when we say these Asians, Chinese, all this China talk, it's all connected. You know what I mean? We love it. This is just a piece of our mom. This is a piece of our mother. So we got Ahab for all our mama. What we're not going to do is let them put us in one place and say, go back to that one place. Because when you do that, it leaves the entire world open for them. And we know the entire world don't look like them when the entire world is looking like us. And this is just real spill. You know what I mean? When the entire world is looking like you, can't just give them anything, boss. You can't give them America. You can't give them China. You can't give them Europe. Okay, so if this is China and this is Europe and this is America, then boss, it looks like the whole world is you. This is where this map is bringing the truth, but it's not for Morocco. It's for Hawaii. And Hawaii's priest Khan, Joshua, divide the land for the tribes. We don't need your priest to break it up for Ham and Kush, Ham and Kush. That's bullocks, man. That's malarkeys, man. Let's go back, man. So we are gonna, this time I'm gonna pretty much pop off from the beginning. Oh, now it says I got a written by again. It's all right. You know why? You know why? Hey, shout out to El Musa Media 1080. I told y'all we had it back because I rented it, but I might just buy it, just to have it. You know what I mean? But yeah, so we're gonna pop off in this and see what we can bring to the full Naga table. We can bring it as food to the table. We got you know what? Yeah, let me get this great brother's insight on this Kyrie flow as well.
I started Jewel Dancewear in 2000.
Oh man, my bad, y'all. My bad. Here we go. Here we go. Go get your dance on. You look like you need to eat. You need to eat some mangoes or something, man. So we're gonna pick it up right in the middle, right here. Let's go.
Media conglomerate group that sincerely talks about the game of basketball, and then we bring up religion as if it's correlative at times when it's convenient for people to bring it up. So please just be direct with your question so we can move on from this and I can talk about the game and go home to my son Elohim and my wife Marlene, okay?
Let's go.
Am I to take it that this was what you shared was not something that you've even watched? This was you did watch it, or either watch it or read it.
I had a lot of time last year to read a lot. Read a whole bunch.
So he's saying, look here, jabroni, I'm not just sharing something I watched. I'm also sharing something that I've been reading and researching and reading lots of books to understand the context. So you're talking to someone who is backed up with context. So listen close, Hijack City.
Good and bad about the truth of our world.
So then do you, I guess, understand or not understand those that might imply that work had anti-Semitic leanings in it? I only ask this because the tweet is still up there, so
we're in 2022.
So yeah, this tweet is still up. You want me to take it down? It's 2022, man. I just left the link. Oh, but did you know that inside of that, it has stuff offensive? Well, so is if I'm watching an Yeezy video. But that's still up. You don't say I'm anti-black people or SHEMites. So everything I share, music video, a movie, what if I shared American History X? That has some offensive stuff towards niggas. What if I shared Django? That got some offensive stuff towards these Nagras. What if I shared any of these black exploitation movies, man? Or any of this stuff, man? You don't worry about how it offends us, and therefore, Tom Cruise was watching Django. Tom Cruise, does it mean you share the slave master's beliefs? That's anti-nigga, and he got to make an apology to all communities of niggas? Hell no, it don't work that way. And he's sharing something on Jeff Bezos' platform. Jeff Bezos ain't being questioned every day. He didn't lose no money. But Kyrie, who don't got the money of Jeff Bezos, got to take the L for a community that doesn't get that he's just searching. He didn't say, I agree with this, I agree with that, the Holocaust this. He never mentions that. And I don't even think the Holocaust is mentioned in that documentary, according to some knockers that dropped it. Like, the Holocaust ain't even mentioned. But they want to throw that in there as if he's giving some insight about the Holocaust. He's talking about the American Holocaust, the M.H.O.E Holocaust, the nigga Holocaust. Hundreds of millions Holocaust. That don't mean what you're suffering from doesn't matter to us. But we're talking about us. You button in our conversation. You button in his personal platform or his personal page on their platform. That's his personal page, leaving a link to his personal followers or people that are digging on it with him. You know how many links we leave that we don't have to agree with everything in that link? You know how many books we read that we ain't got to agree with everything in that book? You know how many movies we watch that we ain't got to agree with anything in that movie for it to be a good movie? He just left a link. That's why real niggas popping off, man. They're like, man, he just left a link. If you do this for leaving a link, what's next, man? And this bro about to talk on some of the psychology that we got to pay attention to about what's next.
It's on Amazon, a public platform. Whether you want to go watch it or not is up to you. There's things being posted every day. I'm no different than the next human being, so don't treat me any different. You guys come in here and make up this powerful influence I have over top of the adultery of, oh, you cannot post that. Why not? Why not? I don't hear uproar on that. I'm not here to be divisive on what's going on this or that. I'm not comparing Jews to blacks. I'm not comparing white to black. I'm not doing that. That conversation is...
He just left a link. He ain't doing no comparisons. He just left a link.
Dismissive. And it constantly revolves around the rhetoric of who are the chosen people of God. And I'm not here to argue over a person or a culture or religion on what they believe. No, this is what is here. It's on a public platform. Did I do anything illegal?
It's on a public platform, Amazon. He's not arguing any points. He just left a link.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Did I do anything illegal? Did I hurt anybody? Did I harm anybody? Am I going out and saying that I hate?
He didn't do nothing illegal, but he got suspended from the team. Does that make sense? Make it make sense. Because it's some new term called anti-Semitism. But you don't want to talk about Shemitism? He didn't even say none of the stuff I'm saying. He just left a link. And he gets suspended for a link? To any consciousness, he could leave a link to B.O.B. B.O.B. might be popping off. It don't mean he agree with everything B.O.B.'s saying. It means, hey, with intelligence, you look at it. But if we can't even do that without losing our footing in Hijack City, then we got to build up Nagaville, period, point blank, for a while.
One specific group of people. So out of all the judgment that people got from me posting, I just, without talking to me, and then I respect what Joe said, but there has a lot to do with the not ego or pride of how proud I am to be an African heritage, but also to be living as a free.
What y'all want to do, man? This is Nagaville. We see they boats coming up. It's time to pop off. Let's go.
Here in America, knowing the historical complexities for me to get here. So I'm not going to stand down on anything that I believe in. I'm only going to get stronger because I'm not alone. I have a whole army around me.
I have a whole army. He's talking about the creator. They made it like, where's your army? Who's going to be all these squiggling, squirmy ass? Where's your army, Kyrie? Who's going to, where's all these armies? Now you taunting the Most High. And that's when it's really up. That's when it's all the way up, man.
What do you think? Now, here it is that they want to get you now by having guilt by association. That if you watch a movie and you make a comment or you tell people, check out a movie with some information, that they want to tie you or put you in a corner as though that you're promoting something that they want to go ahead and label as hate. But when you look into it, what is really considered to be hate? You see, Kanye West, Kyrie Irving, Nick Cannon, whether it's other people who are black folks that are mentioning of things of who is Jews or what is the reality or the truth of people being part of the children of Israel, they're trying to use it as means of hate speech. Is this really the direction we're going? If you don't think that this has consequences, repercussions on a people as a whole, if this does not sound as though that they're trying to make examples out of those in order to show that you better remain silent, isn't this even imposing on people's freedom of speech? That they would rather, the media, these evil reporters that try to question you as though everybody's asking the question, but their agenda is to put you in a place of silence or to try to spawn a following of people to hit on their emotions as though that you are a hater. This is nothing more than just tactics, again, by a system that will get you to remain silent, to zip your lip, not speak a truth. You think about it. Kanye West, bank account was shut down. Social media taken. This is the door to something called the New World Order.
Uh-oh.
If you're not seeing now that your money sitting in a bank can be shut up, closed down, that they can take your life basically of away in a sense of your means of supporting your lifestyle at any given moment based upon something you say shows me in the direction that society is going. This is a scary thing that many people need to start to think about. Now, I know many people don't have platforms and they remain quiet, but you just wait and see. You will be affected by it.
And this is where it all comes together when they, some people ask, man, Drive, why even give us any energy? Because it affects everybody. You might see it as, oh, you're just, giving energy to the circus. But my Naga, when they can do this for a Naga dropping a link, man, what are they going to do next? It ain't about what's in law. It's about how they've controlling. How does it connect with the Tenderoni? What happened during those Tenderoni times that makes it easier for a lot of these folks just to get in line? What about their cognitive thinking has been altered, throughout any of these processes, including the trauma? So when they do this to a famous Naga, and you got your money in banks and you still are popping off on your social medias or whatever the case is, and then what happens next?
You will be confronted with not just saying something, but be questioned on your belief system, your opinions, and where you stand on particular matters. And when you try to stifle those who want to push and pry to pull out of you where you stand, you'll be ridiculed. You'll be ostracized. You'll be taken to the tree with a noose around your neck.
Woo! You know how people try to use, this little stuff for a little banter at little parties and be like, man, what you think about this? Our people, I believe, are popping off much faster than they thought we would. We did the drop about the 100 monkey experiment, but Tupac Ben said it, man, I'm going to be the spark. If I don't pop this off, I'm going to be the spark. And when we take that mentality that we're going to be the spark, he's not just saying I alone can be the spark, but anybody that's rocking with the fundamentals, man. And we took it back, way back to the fundamentals. No power before power, no vanity in Hawa's name, breath of security, keeping our Shabbat, no killing each other, no stealing from each other, no false witnesses, no adultery, mixing out with lower frequencies, honoring our mother, our father, no covetous, my naga, no false witness. And you know what it does to our frequency, our vibration? Man, we can't be controlled. These cons can't be controlled. We are in sync and in order with Hawa. Their AI robots are looking for singularity. You experiencing it right now. But yeah, in their world, in their matrix, they want to ostracize it. They're gonna take you to the limit, the same way they're taking him to a limit, to the limit because of because of a link with no opinion next to it, just a link. Black, white, Filipino, Asian, whatever you want to call it, they can do that to you too. So you gotta stand up. We gotta speak on it. And to see my niggas like Mayno speaking on it. Even I heard Floyd Mayweather saying some things, man. I appreciate that. But, really from the hard bone, I hope it's sincere and real. I hope it ain't for the clout. I know Money Mayweather done made his money. It ain't like, he's in the prime of his career and then he's going to stand up. Kyrie is priming and he's standing up in the prime, man. You can't compare yourself to that. You can't connect yourself to that to be part of that conversation because you may not have as much to lose you think at this point in your career. But if it's from the heart bone for the people, if you're serious about building, and that's the type of change we need to see. And Nagas need to know that they got protectors, that they can't be bullied. We tired of being bullied. We tired of seeing our big homies be bullied, our famous homies being bullied, our little homies being bullied. That's all the equivalent of being lynched because they're destroying your character, they're destroying your frequency. And you come around here kowtowing. From day one, we made a decision that we popping off. That we saying everything opposite of what they want to hear, period. We don't need no, you know, glad handshaking with none of these hijacks. We building Nagaville. We building tribal music. We doing us. And we believe in our Nagas, our tribe, our community that will support us and, lift us up. And we'll continue to lift you up. And that's how we all get up. That's how we all stay up, choose up, suit up, my Naga. Tribe up and rise up and vibe up, my Naga. We on cool.
And put you in a place where you'll be hung, left out for all to see. Let's go a little further with this because people don't think that this has an effect on them. Your social media, your text messages,
Come on,
your phone calls, your location and where you go is all monitored. When they see that you go on social media platforms to watch, this is algorithms, to be able to see what you watch, what you listen to, will put you on a radar, put you on a list, an alert that you may be associated with these platforms that might be speaking the truth.
So from day one, you got to choose up. You got to believe in Hawa's power and the ability for us to cancel them instead of them canceling you, the ability to be the head, not the tail. And it's a damn straight fact that we use Google Maps a lot. They're tracking everything. We got cameras and everything. They got their offices set up just watching you like the Truman Show. It's an effed up reality, to be watched and monitored so much as we are. Our bank accounts, everything is public. We ain't had privacy in so long, we just said, fuck it, man. Real talk. You could tell somebody they watching you, they're like, yeah, we'll watch this. We've been monitored so long, just like a prison camp, that we just, I've been in a prison camp, so I know how the mentality is. It's like, yeah, I know I can't pass that boundary, but I feel free. I could play softball, nigga. I could play, you know what I'm saying? I feel free enough. We keep saying it. It's going to take dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery, We've been a peaceful slave far too long, to be honest. They've been real spoiled by how peaceful these slaves have become, these prisoners of war. And we don't see no other path in any historical setting. When we talk revolution, it's always been dangerous. It's always been dangerous freedom. Just look at the Boston Tea Party. Just look at the Civil War. We got to get away from Black King Charles and them. We got to get away from black ass King Charles and them. King James and them. King George and them. All black. They breaking away from black royals in Europe in the Civil War. Stomping on the head bone of Tecumseh, stomping on the head bone of Dragon Canoe and the Chickamauga and the Caracawa. This brother ain't lying. Real facts.
So then they begin to get you even more worried, in fear, that where you won't even go on social media, where you're now pushed into a corner. Because when you watch your smart TV, they know what you watch. Isn't that true? It picks up on your cell phone. It shows all the different things that you have an interest in. The ads start to pop up and you wonder, how did they know I was looking for a Toyota?
Facts.
Now, all of a sudden, you become silent and complacent. But be of good cheer. You can always remove yourself out of one society into another and go on with your life, where many countries out here may not have those measures in place to totally watch you. Or you might be in a place that they just don't have the so-called technology yet. This is your man, not your boy.
Hey, man, shout out to the bro. And I think his name is Go Back to Africa. Go back to Africa, man. So that's what he was talking about, man. You can always leave there and come here. Hey, man, do you. You can also go to Mexico. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to go to Africa. I mean, Ham and Kush, go back to Africa as if we're from Africa. Because everybody must be out of this one place on great Mother Earth. When we see that it all looks like us. I mean, are you telling me that these niggas here, these Nagas, these Hebrew, these black, these African, are they from Africa too? You gonna tell them to go back to Africa when you just found them here? They just found us here. And if this hijack is gonna claim that they're from Africa, and you're saying they're from Africa, and racist Timmy and his wife beater is also saying, Niagara, go back to Africa. Racist Timmy got the scholarship that you got. Wouldn't that be impossible for you to come to the same conclusion as racist Tommy? Is it Timmy or Tommy? Yeah, whatever, man. Racist Timmy and Tommy. They both say you nigger go back to Africa. He got the scholarship, and then when you get all your high sciences, you come to the same conclusion. Go back to Africa. Wouldn't it make sense that racist Tommy doesn't know what the hell he's talking about? And he's just shit dumb and doesn't know shit. He doesn't know anything. Wouldn't that make more sense that racist Tommy does not have no scholarship? That he's completely wrong? That you were just found here? Go back where? Same thing old Nicky's trying to say, huh? Old Nicky. Ain't that a Prince song or something? Old Nicky. Nicky's trying to say, deport that nigga back to Africa, man. Back to Africa. So you saying go back to Africa, and Nicky over here saying go back to Africa? You got the same scholarship as old Nicky and racist Tommy. Go back to Africa, right? Yeah, love to the bro, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know. Just only saying that because the channel is literally called Go Back to Africa. He's literally saying the same thing as me. Nah, but all facts he's kicking. And just know my bro, Ahab to you, man. And we happen to be in Africa. That's just the crazy thing. That's just the crazy part. But let's not focus on Morocco. Even though Morocco has been focused on us. Go back to Africa. Oh, man. I tell you. Are you going to tell these copper-colored cons in old ancient China that they need to go back to Africa, boss? Or are they indigenous to the land of China? Like the Australian Aborigines are indigenous to the land of Australia that connects to many sunken lands today. They are not from Africa. They're connected to lands, even lands beyond the pole. Nagaville is active. No more you're going to put us in one place when China is right here. You're not going to tell them they're from Cathay. You're not going to tell them they're from India Superior. That they're in Africa, boss. That's all we saying. Let's just all put it together. Slow down. And let's put it together, man. Let's pick it up, man. You know, let's pick it up for the dismount. Like we said, fair use in your caboose ball. And yeah, man, I guess I gotta rent or buy that drop. But you know, let's see if we can surf the wave. Hold on, let me see something. Okay, so I ain't on that play. I'm standing on it. I just literally just bought it. About like $50. All right, and this is something that we have surfed the wave with. This is from back to 2018. And they're pretty much on the same go back to Africa flow too. You know, you're gonna see a lot of connection with the Hebrews and Africa today. You know, but they do touch on some of the, you know, indigenous flow as well. But, you know, so we dodge all hijacks and remember we're in Africa, boss. All right, so, you know, ain't no need to keep jumping and skipping with DNAs and all that. When the people were just found here, these people are the Hebrews, you know, connected to Judah or Utah, Utah, right? All the flow right here at home. Let go. Let's get a piece of this for the dismount. Loud, wow. Starting at the top, my nugget. I mean, we're going to see what all the fuss is about. Fair use, comments, criticism, teaching, you know. Let's go. Hey, there's Kyrie. It's Kyrie. I was waiting for it. In the Black Panther, the movie, they got to go to Oakland, right? They keep throwing you right back in America, but they got to say you from there. But we know we're talking about Hawaii, the Wakanda. Yeah. Cootie Mayo, take the wheel. Let's go. And this is beautiful because we got family everywhere. Yeah, we were scattered across the whole earth plane is what this author's saying, but further recon will show you that the first slave boats were leaving out of America, going to Portugal, going to Spain, going to West Africa. They were bringing you from America. That's the missing piece, my nigga. That's not to create a whole nother, uh, you know, diatribe of distinctions and separation. It's to let you know what the vortex look like. This is why you over here. This is why you coming to America, because you from America. Ancient world, old world, Grand Khan John world, Prester John world. Let's go. Ethiopia, Abyssinia. Shout out to my UK knockers. Shout out to my UK knockers. Let's go. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, boss. And this was our issue. Back to Rosewood, back to all our movements, is that we were still worshiping on, of course, whatever day they let us worship, right? They just like we pop off on Saturdays, because they let us get off work sometimes on the weekend. So they have designed a situation that they got us out of cold. They got us worshiping in their Babylonian times, first day of the week, instead of the seventh day of the week. And we're doing our best, but our mamas and grandmas were training their children, pretty much the buck break then to be good to master. They didn't want nothing bad happening to us. It was out of fear. They control us with fear. So our energy was still going to another power. It wasn't going to the creator, even though the creator is in us and in our hearts and all that. But the energy of the praise is going to their JC, their new churches on their own land. They used to be Indians, right? They used to be Hebrews. Now they're just niggas in church. You know what I'm saying? Singing to who? JC. Let's go. But Naga, I was sitting in the church just like this. Rest in power, my grandma M.H.O.E from Louisiana. My grandma M.H.O.E had me and my sister up in church just like this. My dad was a jazz musician. He wasn't allowed in church because he played the devil's music. I'm serious. She ostracized, her own son just out of the teachings that they had. You know what I mean? This is how they, this is what happened. Because he played jazz, he couldn't play in a church. So he didn't go. But they took us, So we come from these roots, but we see it now clearly like, we know that in our heart bone, she is singing to Hawaii. She's singing to the creator. You can see it, man. But when they put the words on us and they put us in their designs, the change in the frequency is what we see clearly now. And we're here to claim our frequency, to get our frequency back, to see clearly together. Wow.
All races and religions, free to worship as they please. This too is America.
They got the love of who? See what I'm saying? JC. This changed the frequency. This gave us a new tune. It took us out of our ancient love song. Huh? They ain't singing to Hawaii. Come on.
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children.
For most Black Americans, religion has been instilled to us by our parents and the Black church. In addition, our history has been told to us by white America. In Africa, the Baptist people's true history has been clouded by European Jewish colonialism and Arab colonialism, all thanks to the slave trades. This is why we see half of Africa as belonging to Islam and the other half to the Roman Catholic Church. But what was our true heritage and way of life before foreigners invaded Africa? What was our language? What was our name? What was our traditions, customs, and what name did we ascribe to God, the creator of the universe? In Africa, many of our long-lost brothers separated us from slavery, pray to Allah 5 times a day, or they pray to a white Jesus. However, for centuries, we have been tricked. We have upheld different religions with no questions asked, while missing the truth. Truth has been the missing ingredient all this time for us Blacks in America. Now, it's a known fact that Black people are naturally spiritual people, so it is no surprise that we look to our pastor for guidance. But we never seem to wonder why for centuries we have been praying to the same Jesus every other nation prays to, but it seems as though our prayers are not being answered. It seems that no matter how many times a day we pray to Allah or pray to a white Jesus, that our condition has not changed. Other nations continue to oppress, manipulate, take advantage of, and rise above us on every level. What is interesting, however, is that in the 21st century, we are seeing a massive awakening of self. Black people are reading their Bibles, and Deuteronomy 28 has turned on the light bulb of interest into searching for our true identity as it pertains to the Bible. After all, biblically, John descended from one of Noah's 3 sons. But our identity has been either Gentiles, Canaanites, Negroes, or African Americans. But here's the problem. The word Negro or African American doesn't tell us nothing about our heritage. And as we can see today on the streets, in certain churches, and on social media, Black people are now finding out that they are the real lost children of Israel. In turn, they are realizing the Sephardic, Ashkenazi, and Mizrahi Jews in Israel are just religious converts with no biblical blood connected to the ancient 12 tribes of Israel. So why have we been deceived for so long? Why hasn't the black church for decades been aware of who we are according to biblical history? Well, for almost 400 years, we have been teaching the message that what has been passed down to us from the slave plantation religious minister was truth. Using one literate religious Negro, a specific message can be pounded into the minds of Negro Christians or different denominations generation after generation. This message, which has been altered and manipulated for a specific agenda, becomes the standard of truth to the black Christian world, and here we are today in the 21st century. So it's no wonder why in Sunday school as black children growing up, we were coloring images of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, Joshua, King David, King Solomon, and Jesus with a white crayon. It's no wonder why the black Christian church and the Roman Catholic Church has been blessing the wrong chosen people of God and oppressing the real Israelites.
And this is what Kyrie has to apologize for? Has he told a lie yet? Is it just full of lies and untruth?
So who is to blame? Is it the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, the Edomites, the Jewish Pharisees of old, or anyone of European descent? Is it partly our fault? Well, the seed of Edom, the seed of Cain, the synagogue of Satan, and Lucifer himself are the major confederate that has been against us for a very long time. But a time has come where God is waking up his lost sheep of Israel. We are possibly seeing an era where the time of the Gentiles is being fulfilled. Now, the word fulfilled in the dictionary means come to an end. This is also the time where the natural branch of Israel is gearing up to take back its rightful position.
Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, as an old lion. Who shall rouse him up? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come. And unto him shall the gathering of the...
Look how they put Christ in parentheses, conjecture. They don't say nothing about no JC. We're talking about messenger. You're talking about high Mashiach. You can, use your context correctly and then put in, Hosea 3 into the picture. Put in, Jeremiah 30, whom Hawa will raise up again, talking about King David. Put in Ezekiel 37, talking about one shepherd, all of it correlated. Back to Malachi, who's this Elijah popping off, who disappears into the fiery whirlwind, my nigga. No, they don't want us to feel this. They don't want you to see this.
So to understand the history of the Hebrew Israelites, we have to go back to Abraham. And when we talk about Abraham, we can't ignore the descendants of Cush and also the descendants of Shem.
And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, and Phut, and Canaan. And the sons of Cush, Seba, and Havilah, and Sabta, and Raamah, and Sabtech. And the sons of Raamah, Sheba, and Dedan. And Cush begat Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one in the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. Out of that land went forth Asher, builded Nineveh, and the city Rehoboth, and Calah, the reason between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. Unto Shem also, the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder, even to him were children born. The children of Shem, Elam, and Asher, and Arphaxad, and Lud, and Aram.
So according to extra-biblical reports of ancient scholars, what was the overall census of the skin complexion of the sons of Noah? Has the Roman Catholic Church and modern Judaism been lying to us all this time about the true ethnic origin and skin color of the major players of Noah's family tree in the Bible?
Wow. I got to read this about Rabbi Eleazar. An impeccable Hebrew source is the Perk dead Rabbi Eleazar, who classed the entire Shemitic people as black, copper-colored people. You see, they got Semitic in parentheses because Semitic don't exist. We got Shemitic. So all the Nagas, all the Shemites are Nagas. Shem was especially blessed, black or copper color, and beautiful. Ham was Baruch, black, like the raven, and Japheth was blessed, white all over. Oh, okay. That's weird. Just one son happens to be white, right? Stop it, man. Japheth is also a Naga. This is just where they want to graft themselves into the tree.
In regards to the foundation of all the three Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, it's a common notion to believe that Abraham and his wife Sarah were white-skinned, straight-haired individuals living in what is now called South Iraq.
Stop it.
Despite what the Bible says, the false teaching of the sons of Abraham, the Ishmaelite Arabs.
I don't hear them saying that Kyrie is anti-Arab. I don't hear them saying Kyrie is anti-Egyptian. And this same author is pulling the coat on all these images so that we see clearly what it is. We say when you're talking about the 12 tribes of Israel, so-called, all these are Negroes. There's not this is that, this is that. Same father, same seed. Many of those women, whether they're so-called Egyptian, this or that, these are Negroes. You don't get a whole nother race of people looking like this with a whole nother type of phenotype just because you want it to be. This whole people? No. Originally, these are all Nagas. So we dodged the hijack of the false teachings, and we got to bear the truth. Whether that's hard for you, that's your problem. But for the Nagas that's been disenfranchised and lied to and invaded, this makes a whole lot of sense to us.
Isaac, Jacob, and the Israelites were light-skinned people, or what others may say, still holds strong to this day. So what exactly was the skin color or ethnicity of...
And these people today supposed to be wielding our swords in Kalalus? They're supposed to be the sword wielders, man? Are they claiming to be Judah? Are they Shemitic or Semitic, man?
Of the forefathers of Terah and Abraham. To find this out, we need to travel up on the family tree to Shem and his descendants, meaning Arphaxad, Aram, Ashur, Elam, and Lud. Shem's 5 sons populated ancient Mesopotamia and parts of Asia Minor. Arphaxad in particular was a lot of the territory of modern-day Iraq, which in ancient times was the Sumerian land of Ur, where Terah, Abraham, and his family lived before traveling to the land of Canaan. In Genesis 24, Abraham makes his servant swear an oath by putting his hand underneath Abraham's thigh, not to let his sons marry the daughters of the Canaanites. This tradition, called the Oath, by touching the thigh or foot of a master, was said to be common in the 11th century AD in India. In India, the Hindu creator god Brahma had a daughter and half-sister for his wife named Saraswati. Now this sounds like similar stories in comparison to Abraham and Sarah in the Bible, doesn't it?
You're in India, superior. Huh?
And Abraham said, because I thought, surely the fear of God is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife.
Now what most people don't realize is that the answer to Abraham's ethnicity can be found in the sons of Cush and the Dravidian people of India, Sri Lanka, and South Asia.
And Terah lived 70 years and begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begat Lot. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
In ancient history, before the word Iraq existed, ancient Mesopotamia was inhabited by the Sumerians, which Sargon the Great referred to as Sa-Gig-Ga, or the black-headed peoples. The cities of Mesopotamia were Babel, Erech, Akkad, Calneh, and Nineveh, in the land of Shinar. The language spoken by the Sumerians in the land of Ur in Iraq was cuneiform Sanskrit, similar to the cuneiform Sanskrit writing styles seen today in the Dravidian language, Telugu, Kannada, Tamil, and Malayalam. But how can this be? Isn't Arabic closer to Abraham's language? Are the people of Iraq today, the Chaldean Christian Iraqis and Muslim Iraqis, the descendants of Abraham? In all actuality, the answer is no. Before Arabic, Aramaic, and Paleo-Hebrew, cuneiform script was being used in the land of Ur, the land of Terah, Abraham's father. Cuneiform Sanskrit today is the parent of all the languages in India, especially the Indian Dravidian language Tamil. It most resembles the ancient language.
And the Tamil connects to the Prester John flow with the Raja Hiraja Cholas and the Pandians in there, which is why we got to get back there. This Tamil script also might have something to do with the Hebreo stylized, Georgianized, what they call it, the the Voynich manuscript. This might got something to do with the Voynich.
Were spoken during Abraham's time in the land of Ur or modern-day Iraq. So if today's Dravidian and Indian are connected to the Shemitic peoples of Mesopotamia in the Bible, where does Abraham come into play and his future seed, the children of Israel? What is their connection to Cush? And remember, in the book of Genesis chapter 10, the beginning cities, Babel and Uruk of Iraq, were built by Nimrod, the son of Cush. Well, let's take a look at the language of the Dravidian Indians in comparison to Hebrew and the ancient Semitic, Sumerian, Akkadian, Proto-Babylonian, Assyrian language of Mesopotamia at the time. Then we need to look into the bloodline of Cush, its influence in Mesopotamia, and its connection to India. Then we can conclude that the early Hebrew forefathers, meaning Peleg, Ru, Serug, Nahor, Terah, and Abraham, were a mixture of Shem and a little bit of Cush. This is one of many pieces of evidence that can be used to prove that the 12 tribes of Israel were not white-skinned people.
Asiatics.
And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people which shall be left from Assyria, and from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea. And he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth.
Wow.
Now, the Dutch East Indian slave ship Merman between the 1600s to the 1700s AD, was regularly transporting anywhere from 150 to 400 slaves annually from South India, Burma, and Bengal. The Dutch seized Portuguese settlements on the Malabar coast in India in the mid-1600s, and because of this, a large number of slaves were sent to the Indian state of Kerala, to Batavia, which is in Java, Indonesia, Ceylon, which is Sri Lanka, or Elam, and the Cape in South Africa, and elsewhere to work on plantations. Many of these so-called East Indians were kidnapped by the Muslims and sold at the city called Cochin to the Dutch slaveholders. The Arab slave trade of the East African Bantu Israelites during the 8th century shipped slaves all across the Eastern Hemisphere, including Madagascar. By the 16th century AD, the Dutch, including other European countries, got involved with the capturing of slaves from East Africa, Madagascar, the Malabar coast, the Coromandel coast, Bengal, and Indonesia. During the 18th century, a high number of slaves and indentured servants were taken from India and East Africa to do slave work in the Americas, the Caribbean, and South Africa, which was called the Cape. Now, does this hint to the curses of Israel? Now, wait till you see some of the Hebrew influences in the language of these South Asian nations. The language of South India is Tamil and Malayalam, and the language of Sri Lanka is Tamil and Sinhalese.
Saraf. Now we're talking dragon talk. Ibari. Tamil. Ivory. Hey. That's amazing. Ruah. Malakah. Mashiach. Moshe. Wow. Oh man, dodge all height.
Now, is there proof that the people in India are the descendants of Abraham's Semitic ancestors that live in the land of Iraq? Well, thanks to scholars like Dr. K. Loganatha Mudarayan from Malaysia, the late Professor A. Kadasivam from Sri Lanka, and the Kish Temple in ancient Samaria, Iraq, we can now prove that the ancestors of the modern-day East Indian originally lived in Mesopotamia during biblical times. In a few, I will let the language of the ancient Sumerians in Iraq and the Dravidian people in South India reveal some striking truths in regards to the sons of Shem. Also, you will see how the mother tongue of the Mandingo Soninke tribe people in Senegal, Gambia, Mali, and Guinea shows evidence of influence from ancient Babylon, Assyria, the same place the Hebrew Israelites were exiled to in the Bible. It is also a known fact that the ancient writing script of the Mandingo Soninke Bantus people in the 11th century AD resembled the same Aramaic Hebrew script used in Iberia when the Black Moors and the Black Israelites ruled the land. But before we get started, let's get a first-hand account of where some of the Black Israelites lived in Africa and their place of origin by the Black Muslims in northern Nigeria. One of the largest culturally homogeneous group of Black Muslims is in Central West Africa with the Hausa people. There are many different histories of the origin of the Hausa Black Muslims, but the common consensus is that the Hausas originally started off through the North African Hamitic Berber lineage from Egypt, which is Mizraim in the Bible, and Libya, which is Put in the Bible. Over time, during the Assyrian invasion of Egypt in the 7th century BC and the invasion of Africa by the Black Ishmaelite Arabs in the 7th century AD, the Hausa people experienced a Semitic gene flow from Mesopotamia, which is also known as Iraq and Arabia. Today, the Hausa speak an Afro-Asiatic language which is related to Hebrew, Amharic, the North African Hamitic dialects, and Somalian Egyptian dialects. The Hausa people mostly live in North Nigeria, Chad, and Niger. The majority religion now is Islam for the Hausa people, but prior to the 1500s, many Hausas were pagan worshippers who often dealt in sun god worship, which they call Ra or Rana, similar to the Egyptian sun god Ra. Because of their history of mixing with other nations, including their Bantus, Negro slaves, genetically the Hausas have a mixture of Israelite, Canaanite, Cushite, Egyptian, and Semitic ancestry. According to their autosomal DNA, their genetic stock is mostly from ancient Egypt and ancient Kush or Nubia. Now here's where it gets very interesting. In 1849, the Biafran and Igbo Israelites were conquered by the British. 3 years later, in 1852, the British conquered the Benin, Benin Israelites in South Nigeria. Between 1899 and 1903, the British, led by Sir Frederick Lugard in the Battle of Kano, were successful in defeating the Sokoto Caliphate and the Hausa people. After this, Sir Frederick Lugard held the title of the first Governor-General of Nigeria, the last governor of southern Nigeria, the last governor of northern Nigeria, and the governor also of Hong Kong in China. The British eventually placed the Hausa people in political power over Nigeria and the Biafran Igbo Israelites who strongly resisted British rule. This would become the catalyst for the Biafran War in the 1960s by the Hausa-dominated Nigerian government and Igbo Israelite Biafrans. Now, before the British even conquered Nigeria, there was a man named Muhammad Bello, an ancestor of the Hausa people in the Borno state, who was the second black Arab sultan of the North Nigerian Sokoto Caliphate in the early 1800s. Now, Muhammad Bello, he quoted in his records, "The Taurud and Taurud people, it is said, were originally Jews. Others say Christians, that they came from the land between two rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates, and established themselves next to the Jews who inhabited the island of Cape Verde." Now, this is also seen in our Bible in the book of Genesis, chapter 15, verses 18.
On the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, "Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates."
Now, Muhammad Bello also stated that the kingdom of Mali is an ancient and flourishing country and comprises two other provinces. One is Bambara, which contains rivers, woods, sands, and a gold mine, and is occupied by the Sudan, who are still infidels and possess great power. The other, on the west of it, is the Futa, which is inhabited by the Taurud and the Soninke, or foreigners. And what's interesting is that he also made another comment, stating that near to Bambara, there is the province of the Taurud and that of the Fut, which are extensive, inhabited by their own people and by those of Sarankale or Soninke, also called Ajam, meaning alien or foreigner. This region is known today as modern-day Senegal, Gambia, and Mauritania. Now, the Futa Toro was in the north, while the Futa Jalan was in the south, consisted of modern-day Guinea and Sierra Leone. Now, keep this in mind. The tribes that inhabited the Futa Toro and the Futa Jalan region in West Africa back then, their descendants can be seen today in the Tukulur tribe, the Wolof Serer tribe, the Iwan-Biwane Fulanis in Guinea, the Mandingo Soninke tribe, the Balanta tribe, and the Mende tribe. According to the black Muslims in Central Africa and Mali, many Bantu tribes in the Futa regions were still following the Mosaic law as per Hebrew customs and not Islam. This is why they are listed in their books as infidels and foreigners. The Bantu Israelite slaves multiplied so much while they were in captivity to the Fulani people that they assimilated into the black Arab Tuareg Fulani tribes in West Africa. Now, the Tuareg black Berber Muslims called them Bella, and the Masina Fulani people called them Remebi. Over time, the Fulani tribe and their Israelite Negro slaves assimilated into the North Senegal, South Mauritania region known as the Senegal River Valley or the Futa Turo. After many power struggle wars, many Israelite Mandingos migrated south to the Futa Julan region near Gambia and Guinea. Now, based on this knowledge, can we prove with Bible scriptures and what language that these Israelites Muhammad Bello wrote about were the descendants of the ancient Israelites scattered into Assyria, Babylon, and Africa where brown skin tones dominated? You be the judge.
The king of Assyria did carry away Israel unto Assyria, and put them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan, and in the cities of the Medes. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, unto all that are carried away captives, whom I have caused to be carried away from Jerusalem to Babylon.
Now, Iraq is a country or a land between the two rivers, the Nile and the Euphrates River. In biblical times, it was known as Babylon. The country of Iran in biblical times was known as Medes Persia. So if some of the Israelites were exiled into Babylon and Medes Persia, Is there a chance that they mixed languages with the people of these lands? Is there a chance that some of these Israelites kept moving east into Central Asia or India, fathering children with foreign women? Is there a chance that some of these Israelites also went into Africa instead of going east? As you will now see, the languages of the Dravidian Indian in South India, the ancient Sumerians, and the Mandingo Soninke people in West Africa seem to have some connection to the land between two rivers in Mesopotamia. Coincidence? I think not. So who are today's descendants of the sons of Shem that lived in ancient Mesopotamia? And here are two lines from the Babylonian Sumerian instructions of Pak from 2600 BC, which were found in modern-day Tel Farar in Iraq, aka the land of the Chaldees, and the Sumerians. Also included is the Tamil language version from South India of the same Sumerian Babylonian 5,000-year-old inscription. Now keep in mind, around 2600 BC, Shem and his sons were living in modern-day Syria, Iraq, and Iran. Shem is the ancestor of Abraham, the great-grandfather of the children of Israel. Now here you will see the Indian Tamil script and its English letter equivalents for pronunciation. Now, if you look closely comparing the two languages of the Semitic Sumerians and the South Indian Tamil people, you can see the similarities. Often, the only difference in the scripts is a letter switch from P to B, or S to C, or E to I, or B to P. Now, this is not a coincidence. Need more proof? Let's see another example of the Tamil East Indian language in comparison to the Babylonian Shemitic Sumerian language. And here's another sample from the Sumerian Babylonian Kes temple hymns from around 2200 BC. The hymns are attributed to Enheduanna, the daughter of Sumerio, Akkadian king Sargon the Great.
Wow. Now you can see already why they don't want Kyrie giving no extra attention to linguistics, any study of language, philology, all that, connecting it with our tribe scattered all across Amma. So we got AI for all my Nagas all across the plain. We're coming back to the code. That's all it's about. ThaWaDa.
Now, this very well proves that the dark-skinned Davridian Indian people are the long-lost descendants of the ancient Semitic sons of Shem, Arphaxad, Ashur, Aram, Elam, and Lud. After all, Assyria in ancient times often overlapped the territory of Arphaxad, Ashur, Aram, and Elam. Proving that the original Shemites were a people of brown skin color like the Davridian Indian also proves that Eber, Peleg, Terah, Abraham, Nahor, Haran, Isaac, Jacob, and the Hebrew Israelites in the Bible could not have been white Arabs or white Jews. What else does it prove? It proves that the original Hebrews, the sons of Eber, were not all Negroid-looking people with tight curled woolly hair, prognathous jaws, and full lips. Why? Because not everyone in South Asia looks identical to Negroes in America.
From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring mine offering.
According to the Bible, in ancient times, the Israelites dwelt in Egypt along the Nile, which is in the land of Ham, or modern-day Africa. When the Israelites left Egypt, they were over 1 million strong.
Or we in Mississippi. Let's go.
Leaving as a mixed multitude with Moses and Joshua to the land of Canaan. But prior to the Exodus, many of the Israelite men had already took wives from Cush, which is Nubia, and Egypt. This can be seen in the case of Zipporah, Moses' Cushite wife, and Asenath, Joseph's Egyptian wife. Zipporah would give rise to a Cushite Israelite Levitical priesthood line, while Asenath, the Egyptian, would give rise to the tribe of Ephraim and Manasseh. In the book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, Zephaniah talks about the glorious day of the Lord when the Gentile nations receive their punishment and the children of Israel are regathered. So where does Zephaniah describe as one of the places of this regathering? From beyond the Nile River in Africa. The Nile River extends south all the way to where Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and the Congo is at, which is prime hotspots for the Bantus Israelites who endured persecution according to the curses of Israel. Now, prior to the Bantus Israelites making their way down the Nile River into different parts of Africa, the Israelites spent a lot of time in Egypt and Sudan. This can be proven by researching the oral history of the Bantus, Kikuyu, the Kamba, Kisi, Aluya, Sukuma, Ewe, Yoruba, and Igbo people, and also the Tutsi Jews. But what caused the Bantus people to leave Egypt and Sudan once they had already escaped captivity in Israel? The rise of Islam with the Black Arab invasion into Northeast Africa and the Arab slave trade. Now, can we prove outside of the Bible that the Bantus Negroes lived in Israel during biblical times, eventually finding their way into Africa during the Assyrian siege, the Babylonian siege, and the Roman siege? This can be proven scientifically with archaeology combined with DNA testing. Now, British archaeologist Dorothy Annie Elizabeth Garrett worked on excavations at Mount Carmel in Palestine, demonstrating ancient skeletal fossil remains in the caves of Tabun, El Wad, Shukba, and the Kabara. The Shukba cave was located on the northern bank of Wadi in Natuf, which is located in modern-day Palestinian West Bank territory in Israel. There was no name for the people these skeletal remains belonged to, so they named these people the Natufians, named after Wadi and Natuf. Dorothy Garrett's work would not be in vain. In 2016, a genetic study was done on the migration of a select people from Northeast Africa into Israel, who brought pastoralism and farming. This was dated to BC biblical times. The study was called The Genetic Structure of the World's First Farmers by Cold Spring Harbor Laboratories BioRxiv, spearheaded by Dr. Yosef Lazaridis in the Department of Genetics, Harvard University. Data was obtained from Dorothy Garrett's Natufian skeletons found inside the caves in Israel dating back to BC times. Now, these skeletons revealed the presence of the Y DNA of the Allura tribe, the Dogon tribe in Mali, Native American Indians, Australian Aborigines, the Dravidian Indian, the Black Arab Bedouins, the Pacific Islanders.
And that's my thing, you know, when they show North American Indians, they're not showing, you know what I'm saying, the same aqua, you know what I mean? They got to show, you know, something that, you know what I'm saying, is not conducive of these copper colored tribes found here in almost totality, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's all good to get, you know, the drop on how we connect into Africa and all that. But knowing that we in Africa, we need to go further with the indigenous flow, you know what I'm saying? We need to go further on the land of Prester. The Shem flow that it was harder to even find, 3 times harder, says African and Native Americans by Jack Forbes. Thrice the effort to get here than to get over there. Surfing the wave with the Gulf Stream. The Gulf Stream, you could just surf the wave to get to Africa. To come over here, it takes 3 times the time, the energy, the sweat, because you're going against certain currents, man. This is the land of the hidden ones. So, you know, we are just finally putting that piece of the puzzle. With all this, you know, DNA science talk and connecting to our family all across the plane, you know what I'm saying? When we talk about slavery, we're talking about aquas like this getting picked up from here, dropped off in, you know, Gambia, you know what I'm saying? Now we seeing clear.
Somalians, the Habesha people in Ethiopia, and the so-called Bantus Negro in Israel. Now, according to Israeli archaeologist Dr. Ofer Bar Yosef, British American biological forensic anthropologist Dr. John Lawrence Angel, and others, the Natufian skeletal finds exhibited Negroid traits, such as Ethiopic and Bushmanoid traits. The skull shape, the nose, the teeth, the prognathism of the jaw, and DNA markers found in the ancient skulls in Israel prove the ancient people living in Israel during biblical times were not a race of white Jews or white Arabs. Now, French bioanthropologist, archaeologist Dr. Fanny Beauquentin, British American bioanthropologist Dr. John Lawrence Angel, and American biopaleoanthropologist Dr. Charles Loring Brace all revealed in their Natufian research that the sub-Saharan Niger, Congo, Bantus African populations have a clear link to the BC Natufian people in Israel. The Natufian people supposedly brought pastoral living and farming to Israel, not new hunter-gatherer practices. But this account is nothing new when comparing the knowledge to the biblical accounts of the Canaanites and the Israelites.
These men are peaceable with us, therefore let them dwell in the land and trade therein. For the land, behold, it is large enough for them. Let us take their daughters to us for wives, and let us give them our daughters. Only herein will the men consent unto us for to dwell with us, to be one people, if every male among us be circumcised as they are circumcised. Shall not their cattle and their substance and every beast of theirs be ours?
Now Shechem was the Canaanite city mentioned in the Canaanite Amarna letters to the Egyptian pharaoh after the Exodus, and is mentioned in the Hebrew Bible as an Israelite city of the tribe of Manasseh and the first capital of the Kingdom of Israel. Now, geneticist Dr. Peter A. Underhill from Stanford University also admitted in his research that the sub-Saharan genetic lineage is affiliated with the Y-DNA EP2, migrated through Egypt into Israel, the Middle East, and as far north as Turkey, the very place many of the letters or epistles of Paul in our New Testament were sent to. The Y-DNA EP2, according to geneticists, arose in the Horn of Africa, or what some would consider Northeast Africa. The Y-DNA EP2 will give rise to the Y-DNA EM2, aka E1B1A, which is found in the sub-Saharan Negro, and also EM329, which was associated with the Semitic Ethiopians of the Amhara people, the Eritrean people, and the Tigrayan people, or what they will call today the Habesha people. So what does all this DNA stuff really mean? Well, if the DNA of the so-called Bantus Negro is different than that of other ethnicities and tribes in Africa, then who are they? The Bantus people's customs are Hebraic, and their language, as you will see later, is influenced by the Hebrew language and the Egyptian language. Also, their oral history points back to Israel. So if it is scientifically proven that the EP2, the EM2, and the E1B1A Y-DNA originated in Northeast Africa, later appearing in Israel, it proves that the Bantus Negro people are the biblical Hebrew Israelites. Now remember, the children of Israel became a nation of people while they were living for centuries in Egypt and Nubia, which is Northeast Africa. What is even more striking is that the maternal DNA of the Bantus Negro and its downstream branches can be seen all throughout the world in different ethnicities that claim Israelite heritage. And why is this important? Well, the maternal DNA passed from every mother to child is not influenced by who that woman marries to produce a seed, or if that seed was born out of rape from captivity. This means that no matter where the ancient Israelite women went, no matter if she birthed a child with an Israelite man or a Shemitic or Hamitic or Japhetic man, her maternal DNA would track the migration route of the Hebrew tribes. After all, the Hebrew Israelite man, woman, and child were scattered to the four corners of the earth, never to return as a reunited nation until the Messiah is coming. Now, the big question everyone wants to know is if the early Hebrews were a people mixed with Hamitic and Shemitic blood. The definition of a people with Hamitic-Shemitic root is called Afro-Asiatic. This excludes the children of Japhet or the white nations of Europe, Asia Minor, and Central Asia. So what if we can prove that the ancient Hebrews, such as Terah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were Afro-Asiatic people? Now, this will crush the myth or worldwide belief that Abraham, Moses, the children of Israel, and even Jesus Christ were straight-haired, white-skinned people. To prove this, let's start with the Book of Jubilees, which is canon with the Ethiopian Orthodox Church and the Beta Israel Ethiopian Jews. The Book of Jubilees, known as the Lesser Genesis, was found written in ancient Hebrew in the 2,400-year-old Dead Sea Scrolls found in Qumran, Israel in 1947. When the Book of Jubilees in ancient Hebrew was compared to the Ethiopic Book of Jubilees, it was considered, word for word, a perfect match. Now in the Book of Jubilees, chapter 8, verses 7 through 9, it reads, "And she bare him a son in the 5th year thereof, and he called his name Eber. And he took unto himself a wife, and her name was Azurad, the daughter of Nimrod, in the 32nd Jubilee, in the 7th week, in the 3rd year thereof. And in the 6th year thereof she bare him a son, and he called his name Peleg. For in the days when he was born, the children of Noah began to divide the earth amongst themselves. For this reason he called his name Peleg, and they divided it secretly amongst themselves, and they told it to Noah." So here we see Eber taking the daughter of Nimrod, a Kishite woman, to be his wife. Knowing that Eber was a descendant of Arphaxad, whose land was ancient Babylon or Samaria, and Azurah was a Nubian Cushite woman, what would this possibly look like today? Now note, Peleg was Abraham's great-great-great-grandfather, and Abraham was the grandfather of Jacob, the father of the children of Israel. From the Hebrew Strong's number 5680, the word Ebri, and the Hebrew Strong's number 5677, Eber, do we get the foundation for the word Hebrew. For example, in the Bible, Abraham recognized that there was, is, and will be but one Elohim, the creator of heaven and earth. Abraham was not caught up in polytheism and pagan worship like his father Terah. Instead, he dedicated his whole life to spreading the knowledge of God. Abraham was known in the Bible as Ha-Ibri, or the Hebrew, which also means the one on the other side, or to cross over. Now, where did Abraham cross over from? Was it the Euphrates-Tigris River? In those days, all the world was on one side worshiping pagan gods, and Abraham was alone on the other side worshiping the one true creator of all things, who was called Yahuwah or Yahuwah by the early children of Israel. Now, for those who still have doubt, take this amazing fact into consideration. Joshua, an ancient Israelite from the tribe of Ephraim, quoted from the book of Joshua, a book all European Jews today are familiar with. Now, Joshua was the one that led the children of Israel into the land of Canaan. So if Joshua mentioned the book of Joshua in the Bible, wouldn't it be considered a reliable source of ancient Hebrew history?
And David lamented lamented with this lamentation over Saul and over Jonathan his son. Also he bade them teach the children of Judah the use of the bow. Behold, it is written in the book of Jasher. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?
So now that you have read this quote from the book of Joshua, now read what is in the book of Yasher. Now in the book of Yasher, in chapter 7, verses 49 to 51, it reads, And Terah, the son of Nahor, prince of Nimrod's host, was in those days very great in the sight of the king and his subjects. And the king and the princes loved him, and they elevated him very high. And Terah took a wife, and her name was Amthelo, the daughter of Cornebo, a Cushite priest. And the wife of Terah conceived and bare him a son in those days. So who was the son that was born to Terah and a Cushite woman? Now this son was Abraham. But how can we be so sure Terah's wife was a Cushite Nubian woman? Well, the Bible tells us that the family of Nimrod, the son of Cush, ruled over the land of which is Babylon and Iraq, when Terah's family called this place home.
And Cush begat Nimrod.
Remember, Moses was the king of Cush for 40 years. Yeah, Moses was the king of Cush for 40 years. He became king of Cush at the age of 18. We just read that in Jasher. Let's go.
He began to be a mighty one in the earth, was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calne in the land of Shinar.
Now the scriptures say that Terah was 70 years old when he bore Abraham. In those times he was a prince to the king Nimrod, who raised him in those days and dignified him above all the princes that were with him. So let's backtrack again so we can understand the true ethnicity of the forefathers of Jacob and the children of Israel. Now, if Nimrod's Cushite family ruled the land of of Terah's nativity in the Bible, and if Terah held a high position as prince in the Cushite royal family with Nimrod, we should assume that his wife Amthelo, the daughter of the priest Cornebo, was most likely of Cushite stock. This Cushite woman, Amthelo, and the Hebrew man Terah will give birth to Abraham. This will make Abraham an Afro-Asiatic brown-skinned man, not a white-skinned European-looking man like today's white Jews. So is there any archaeological or DNA proof to back this up? Well, there sure is. Now, the maternal DNA of the Bantus West Africans, Bantu South Africans, Bantus East Africans, including Ethiopians, Ethiopian Jews, Dravidian Indians in South India, and Black Pacific Islanders can all be found to be related to one another.
Let's get a little more.
The Bet Alpha Synagogue in the Bet Alpha Synagogue National Park near Bet Shean, Israel, it shows a mosaic from over 1,500 years ago which depicts Abraham and Sarah with dark brown skin and afros.
Bang.
But don't take my word for it. The first century Roman historian Cornelius Tacitus, who lived in the 1st century AD, had these thoughts on the Hebrews. In his literary work, Histories 5.2 to 5, he writes about the Hebrews. Many again say that they are a race of Ethiopian origin, while other translations read, many assert that the Hebrews are a race of Ethiopian origins.
So you telling me there's history like this out there's, let's go back a couple of seconds.
Maternal DNA of the Bantus West Africans, Bantu South Africans, Bantus East Africans, including Ethiopians, Ethiopian Jews, Dravidian Indians in South India, and Black Pacific Islanders can all be found to be related to one another.
We are scattered. Scattered tribes. That's why it's a big deal to come back together.
In the Bet Alpha Synagogue, in the Bet Alpha...
Okay. So this is in the synagogue. And this is Abraham, all these copper-colored people. And Kanye is trying to say, I'm going DEFCON 3 on Jewish. And he's saying, I'm Jewish. I'm the Judah. Hawauda. I'm the Hawauda. And there's literal paintings and murals and synagogues of copper-colored cons as these SHEMitic people. And they want to wear their fight anti-Semitism shirts courtside at Kyrie. And when he says, I can't be anti-Semitic, he can't refer to this painting on a synagogue. He can't refer Manaka to the writings of historians and say, I can't be anti-Shem. Don't you get it? He can't refer to these facts. Instead, he just left a link, my nugget. He just left a link to this. They're going in on Arabs, Egyptians. Ain't no one said you being anti-Arab, anti-Egypt. He's saying, I am Shemitic. I can't be anti-Semitic. I don't agree with the term, the label. It's not even a real word. You're not even saying Shem. And then he just leaves a link instead. No comment, just a link. And then has to apologize a bit, being anti. Are you anti-Semitic, Kyrie? Are you anti-Semitic? Are you anti-Semitic, Kyrie? Do you hate Jews, Kyrie? Because do you think they stole your identity, Kyrie? He's saying the writings on the wall. Look at the walls in the synagogue.
At Alpha Synagogue National Park near Beth Shean, Israel.
In Israel.
It shows a mosaic from over 1,500 years ago, which depicts Abraham and Sarah with dark brown skin and afros.
In their Israel, right? We know they got a lot of their stuff over there from here. We got to keep saying that. But we also know our people are scattered. And that we got to, look into these migrations and look into these wars and why were the Igbo tribe in Nigeria, why they had to scrap their way out of that? Why were they always at war? Why were they being, known or called, foreigners or, what was the deal? Really, because they're from America, man. They were just dropped off over there. They're trying to clear out these tribes here to get to the goal so they can build their American United States of America Corporation, America dream that everyone's a part of. Oh, everyone's a part of this dream. Now they turning it up to a new order. Man, Kanye can't say, look on the wall in Israel, in your synagogue, in your Israel. Afro-Asiatics, right? Hold on, man. I gotta take a screenshot, man. This is cray. This is cray. This is on the wall. This is on the wall, and he gotta argue with y'all. Black Abraham is on the wall with an afro, and he gotta argue with y'all when he says, I am Shem. I can't be anti myself. Kyrie says, I can't be anti me because I know who I am. Did you look on the damn wall?
But don't take my word for it. The first century Roman historian Cornelius Tacitus, who lived in the 1st century AD, had these thoughts on the Hebrews. In his literary work, Histories 5.2-5, that the Hebrews are a race.
1st century Roman historian Cornelius Tacitus, 56 AD to 11 or 118 AD, said many again say that they were a race of Ethiopian origin or Abyssinian Managa. Fiery looking origin, Nagaville, man. Many assert that the Hebrews are a race of Ethiopian origins. And we just get right from the definition when we digging on that goose. We just talking that goose. For the dismount, man. And we understand that when we talking the goose, ruler of Abyssinia, which predates Ethiopia, king, Naga from stem of Naga. So the nigga is the Negus, which stems from Naga. In Hebrew, the noon, the Na is the noon, which means seed, the seed. The Ga will be the Gam, which means what? We got it up. We ain't got to do no guesswork. The Naga, right? NG, that's all you got. With that NG, you got a nigga and you got a Naga. They throwing in the vowels. Dodge the vowels. It's just an N and a G. The noon is the seed. Seed continues, your heir, your son. The Gam is the foot or the gathering or the walking. So this is a gathering seed. This is a frequency of the seed gathering, which is the frequency of Hawa, the Naga. Ain't no serpent snake. It's the dragon. It's the renewal of the seed, the gathering of the seed. My Naga, the Negus, which is Ethiopian Shemitic, Afro-Asiatic family. Fiery looking Nagas are Shemitic by nature. Kyrie says, I know who I am. You say Naga, that's not a nigga, that's not enough of an apology. He says, I know who I am. You're wearing fight anti-Semitism shirts in his face. You bought out the courtside for this? To show your financial strength? That's all you're showing is financial strength. What what nigga Naga can just buy out the whole world courtside just for a point that you're hurting our feelings? When he's been Shem the whole time, going through the curses of Deuteronomy 28, and you're still holding it over his head bone. Curse when you go in, curse when you go out. Now you want to curse Kyrie. Take away his living, his livelihood, his sanity. Curse Kanye. Curse Kyrie. Curse Nick Cannon. Curse all these niggas that want to speak and say something. We're just talking about niggas and niggas, man. Semitic, Shemitic niggas and niggas. The negus, the naga, the seed is gathering. Yeah, I'm digging heavy on this documentary, man. Many again say that they were a race of Ethiopian Shemitic. So Ethiopian just means burnt face or fiery looking. Shem. Shem is fiery looking. Right in your face bone, man. Couple more seconds for the dismount. We're gonna pick up right here as long as we rock it. Again, I'll make sure these are available on Ether Pack 3, because I don't know what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So all praise ThaWaDa and ThaWaDa to my YouTube Naga, because I know we got some YouTube Nagas that work for YouTube and Google behind the scenes that's been watching, looking out for us, just at least going to bat for a Naga, saying, hey man, just let them rock because, X, Y, and Z. You know what I'm saying? So ThaWaDa to my YouTube behind the scenes Nagas, because I know we got some help behind the scenes, man. Allow a while, let's go.
Race of Ethiopian origins. Now, if the early Hebrews were a race of Ethiopian origin, it must have been black to look upon, as the meaning of the word Ethiopian can be linked to the Greek word meaning
Let's go.
burnt faces or dark skin tones.
Or fiery looking. One more time. At the very bottom, what does it say? Fiery looking. Let's do it ourselves. So we ain't got no, you got Abyssinia, you got Ethiopia, right. Fiery looking. The one with the deadly glance, the dragon. The one with the deadly glance. Y'all remember what the definition of a dragon is? The Naga. Put it all together. I can't make this stuff up. That this all connects to fiery looking, seraph, burning ones, seraphim, dragons, meteor, Prester, priest con, back to that. I can't make this up. I'm talking about fiery or fierce, violent person, fiery shooting meteor. This person is the dragon, huh? This person, male or female, man or woman, is a dragon. Is a who? A dragon who? This violent person. Who's the violent Naga? Who would the invader be calling violent? The Indians, the indigenous, people fighting back, Tecumseh, Chickamauga, Dragon Canoe, Moshe, Joshua, you, my Naga, you would be violent. They want to shut you down. They want to shut down Kyrie. He would be violent with his words, with his thought patterns. Kanye, with his own ideologies, would be violent to them, fierce. Any people that are fierce, male or female, man or woman, Managa is a dragon. Or a naga. They say snake. No, a serpent is not a dragon, which is why in alchemy there's an alchemical serpent and an alchemical dragon. One brings life, one brings death. One is impersonal, one is the unknown origin. That's Hawa. My naga, my dragon, my negus. You are fiery looking. You are fiery looking, burning, burn. Not just burnt, but burn face. Fiery looking. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's Ethiopia. What's Leviathan? Shout out to big homie Levi. Can't leave Levi out. Oh yeah. Back to the unknown origin. They want to call him Satan, man. And he's Hawa's dragon. Feel like they shorten this. I always feel like when I come back here, I always see less and less and less. Let's see dragon and etymology. Uh-oh. The one with the deadly glance. Fiery looking correlates in etymology to the one with the deadly glance when you talk dragon. So Ethiop, fiery looking, has everything to do with the one with the deadly glance, which is the dragon, which is a person. I said a person. I said a person. Male or female. So this male or female Naga has the look, has the deadly glance to do what? See clearly. So when you begin to see clearly, that's called the apocalypse. Your dragon is rising. They call it Kundalini chakras and all that. That's a dragon. Your guardian angel is your guardian dragon because that helps you see. That's why you see these, little guardian wise dragons in these movies and all that because they're seeing clearly. Wisdom. Or the one with the glance or deadly glance for the hijack. I have seen Dirkstein. Huh? Dirk, okay. Like little Dirk. Okay, little Dirk. To see. Kind of like Drake. Oh yeah, like Drake. Right. So all of them are claiming to have the vision to be visible. You see how everyone's in your frequency, right? But are they the real Naga? Are they the Negus? Are they the king? King, man or woman, king or queen? With the look. With the look, my Naga. Because this man or woman is a dragon. Hey, allow why? We just popping off. And everything's, for us getting clear. You know what I'm saying? And it don't have to be so crazy, even though they want to give it to us, and all these little bits and pieces we got to put back together. Ahab to the oct again. We'll get into some of this too, man. I mean, we're just surfing the wave. This is part 5 of Yeezy Said It, Kyrie edition, you know what I'm saying? And connecting it all, because it's really one message. And I believe, the bros are connected and or connecting. And, I hope it's not a gimmick. I hope it's not, for clout or nothing else for any of them, Floyd or any of them. I really, I'm wishing for the best, you know what I'm saying? The best example of when Nagas see clearly and, get together and start to gather and tribe up, you know what I mean? So, we look forward to that. Aquatai also dropped some legal drop. There's some legal drop. Marijuana will be legal in half the U.S. Okay. So they're doing, I guess, like prohibition, you know what I'm saying? Legalizing it federally. Okay. Hey, just make it do what it do. Make it do what it do. You know what I'm saying? I'll leave this link for y'all, man. Aquatai popping off, man. Y'all keep surfing the wave in the drop, chatter, chatter. You know what I'm saying? And maybe you can get a little mappy and see clearly, man, where China is, where India's superior is. And so we ain't so crazy when we say, nah, you got to bring them artifacts back over here. You talking Egypt, you talking Euphrates, and now you might need to start looking over here in Cathay and not just go with the modern maps, but modern massa want to tell us. Ahab, Aqua, Delfina, man, ID Boy, everybody checking in. I see y'all checking in, getting that drop. We all getting that drop, man. ThaWaDa to all the cons, man. Y'all keep surfing the wave, man, with a dragon flit eye perspective for Hawaii, man, for Joy World, for Nagaville. Shalom.